So now we're going to look at the humanistic theorist, who, if we look back, we talked about humanism before as a perspective, and the humanistic perspective is always going to say that the reason that we do things is to become the best us we can be. So it's a very warm, fuzzy, Mr. Rogers kind of feel-good thing, and it's interesting because one of the men's name is Rogers. So we're going to combine them because they actually did some work together. All right, so first of all, when we're looking at Carl Rogers and Maslow as well, that people are innately good. In other words, we're born and we have these good things about us. And so they're focusing on those good things. And what they're saying is that throughout our lives, the choices we make, our personality is geared toward becoming the best me I can be. That's my motivation. I'm trying to move into my best me. So that would be their explanation of why I am the way that I am. Abraham Maslow brought in an addition to this motivation. He said that meeting our basic needs are actually what motivates our behavior. So not only becoming becoming this self-actualized person, the best me, it's also trying to get those basic needs met would explain why we behave the way that we do. So these terms will probably be on your test, and one is self-actualization, and that means to reach one's highest potential. And this will make more sense in a minute. And so when we've arrived and had Maslow's hierarchy of needs all in place, which we'll see in a minute, we become self-actualized. We've reached our highest potential. And there is a belief that there's self-actualizing tendency. So that's the actual natural drive. It's the motivation behind trying to become the best me. So self-actualization is the goal. Actualizing tendency is our motivation. All right, so we've looked at Maslow's hierarchy of needs in another chapter. And so what he's saying, remember he said our motivations are to meet specific needs. And so we start at the very bottom because it's the most important, and then we'll go to higher and higher on our way to becoming the best us we can be. So what Maslow was saying in his hierarchy of needs is that the very first thing that has to be met, the first need that has to be taken care of, is our physiological needs. So food, water, shelter, clothing. All right, so all of those physiological needs have to be met or we can't become the best us we can be. The next level is going to be safety needs. In other words, I have to feel secure where I'm at with what I have. I have to believe that I'm going to be okay in my situation. My situation has to feel safe to me. Then there is the concept of a belonging, a sense that you belong to a group, to someone. So it would be our family, it would be our friends, it would be that unconditional regard that we have for one another, that I know no matter what I do, that this person or these people will be there for me. And then lastly is esteem. So I have to feel that I am valuable in some way. Now, if I get all of these and keep all of those things, so I've got my shelter, my food, my drink, my clothing, I feel secure, that nothing's going to be taken away from me. I have a feeling that someone has unconditional belief in me, unconditional positive regard. They're going to love me no matter what. And then, of course, the belief that you have that belief in yourself. All right, so if you have all of those things, then we're going to say that you are self-actualized. So some other things we want to look at, I mentioned this before, unconditional positive regard. So when they are with clients, they express this. So in a therapist setting, if we have unconditional positive regard, we look at that client as being worth our time, that we believe in them and we're not going to be judgmental about them. And so there's no strings attached. So a therapist doesn't look at you because you have XYZ problem and judge you. They have this unconditioned, you are a human being and you are of value. So there's no strings attached. Now, when we look at our relationships, we might have some that are unconditional, but we do have others that there are definitely strings attached. All right, so that would be conditional positive regard. So I'm going to treat you well because you're doing what I want you to do. All right. So Rogers and Maslow, their hierarchy of needs and their humanistic approach.